Hey everyone, Ashley here. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I am so sorry that I did not get to make the flower that I promised to probably about 3 weeks ago. Christmas hit, it got very chaotic. I was stressed trying to finish up my Christmas shopping and just getting everything done that I never got a chance to get back to another video. So I am going to be making the scrunched up flower that was in my giveaway. I gave a purple one away, and this is a red one. And I just love making these. They're really cool, and they just are awesome to make and very quick and easy. I just call it the scrunched paper flower because I don't really have a name for it. They're really simple and easy to make, and very quick to make too. What you're going to need is 4 circles. Here I just used my Spellbinders circle punch. You can use the Cricut, you can use any kind of cutter that you have, a circle cutter, whatever. You're just going to need 4 circles. 1 large. I have 2 medium, but you know, if you could get one just a bit smaller and then a bit smaller than that, that would be perfect too. Like say maybe a 2 inch, a 1 3/4 inch, and a 1 1/2 inch. And then I have this tiny circle there. You're going to need water, definitely. I like the water in a little spray bottle. Definitely some kind of tissues or napkins because you have to really soak the paper really well, and you're going to want to get the extra water up. And then you're going to want distress inks. Any color. Let's see. I think just because it's on top, I'm going to do scattered straw. I haven't done one in scattered straw yet. And then you're also going to need some kind of glue. I put this one together with hot glue, and I probably would suggest hot glue, but for today I'm going to be using quick dry glue, just because I can't plug up my hot glue gun and my heat tool at the same time, which you're also going to need a heat tool. Okay, so here's what you're going to do, and forewarned, you're going to get your hands messy. So that just kind of goes with distress inks and this flower. Alright, so I'm just going to take the distress ink and do a, I think it's like pad on paper technique or something like that. But I'm just going to saturate this paper up really well. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I'm using Recollection brand paper, which I get from Michael's, and it's a very good cardstock, and I really like it. I make cards with it and everything, but it is kind of flimsy, and I don't know if that's why this works so well or what. But I've never done it with a thicker cardstock, so you're going to have to experiment with it. You just want it nice and coated on both sides, but some distinction, not fully coated, is fine. And you're just going to want to coat these up well. And this ink pad is getting dry, as with all of my ink pads. I really need to buy some refills. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have them all inked up. And another thing, I've never tried this, so this is just an idea that I'd like to try, and maybe you could too. I'm not going to do it today, but what I'm thinking is maybe you can take your ink applicator and actually use another color and just go around the very edge with that color. And it might bleed a little bit, but it might kind of give some detailing to the edge. Just something to try. I've never done it, but if you do, leave a comment below and let me know if it worked or not. Then I'm just going to take all 4 of these and spray them heavily, heavily with water. You want them really sprayed well. And hopefully this yellow is going to work, because that's really kind of bleeding more than I figured. Then I'm going to flip them over. Okay, and you want them drenched in water. Okay, and then I'm going to spray them again. So you want them really, really saturated. Okay, Then I'm just going to kind of back and forth, make sure they're really nice and wet, and then I'll just move them off to the side. I mean, they're almost so wet that they'll tear if you're not careful. So really make sure you get them nice and wet. Then I'll just clean that up. Okay, and then I'm just going to take them and just kind of get off some excess moisture. Okay, now that you have that, I'm just going to take them very gently and just scrunch them up. It does not matter how you do this, just scrunch them. Just kind of roll them between your fingers and everything and just scrunch them up. And then carefully take them apart. Now, if they rip, it's okay. You don't really want them to, but it's fine if they rip just a little bit. So I'm going to get this apart here. And don't really be kind of finicky, just take it like that, leave it alone. The more you mess with it, the more it won't look like a natural flower. So I'm just going to do these to all of it. Okay, once you have them like that, now I'm going to take my heat tool. Now one thing I have noticed with mine, and probably with all heat tools, I've just noticed it with mine, is when I start to dry these, which you're going to need to do next, is they will start to smoke. I'm guessing it's steam being created from the heat tool and the water, but if you need to and you see a lot of smoke, shut it off, let it cool off for a little bit, and then turn it back on. So now I'm just going to dry these, but not all the way at all. I want to actually keep them a little bit wet. So I'm going to grab my tweezers. I don't need them quite yet, but when I do, I'll have them. And now I'm just going to start to dry them. Okay, so I dried that for maybe 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. And they are much drier than they were originally, but they're still wet. And now I'm just going to roll them up again. And I actually just kind of roll them into a ball and just kind of like that, and then carefully take it apart again. Trying your best not to rip it. And I'm just going to do that to all of them again, just bunching them up. Okay, just like so. And now I'm going to dry them again. Not all the way, I still want to leave them a little bit wet. So I'm just going to dry it one more time. Okay, so I just dried them again, another 20 to 30 seconds. And they are starting to feel much drier, especially around the edge of the paper. And now I'm going to just do it again. And what I'm doing this time though, is I'm actually kind of taking the paper and folding it in on itself so it does this sort of thing, kind of like a triangle. I feel that works best, especially since the edges are now getting dry. So I'm just going to do that. Take it apart. Don't take it apart all the way. Leave it just like it is to leave as many crinkles as you can. I'm actually going to go ahead and dry them all the way now. So this could take up to a minute or longer, just until the paper feels totally dry. You just want to make sure when you're using your heat tool, be very, very careful because it is very, very hot and you can burn yourself really, really quickly. Alright, so it should be nice and dry. I mean, you can hear that. And it kind of reminds me of clay now because these little lines are stuck in this. I love the way it turns out. It's really kind of cool and hard to believe that it's paper. So what I'm going to do is just scrunch it up one last time. Really, really well. And then just undo it. And this time you can pull a bit more because your little lines are not going to go anywhere. They are permanently in that paper. And be kind of careful. I mean, they're not fragile per se, but you do want to be a little bit gentle with them just so they don't rip. You could also spray these with glimmer mist if you wanted to. I think for the yellow, just the clear, I think it's frost, I believe it is, something like that would be really pretty on this. You don't have to, that's just an option that you can do. I'm not going to, I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing these together. But before you add the glue, you want to kind of go ahead and fit your petals in and make sure that they're the way you want. Just kind of press it down, make sure it all fits, which mine does. and then just a little bit of glue, and you really want to make sure your paper is dry enough, because if it's not, this glue is not going to set well. Okay, just like so, and I'm hoping this glue will be good enough. Because like I said, I normally use the hot glue gun, but just for today's video, I am not. I'm just going to be using this glue here. Okay, put this one in. Okay, and then the little baby circle here. Okay, well that actually worked pretty well. Then I'm just going to take it and just kind of gently fluff the petals down and up, just to kind of give it more of a 3D look. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, it's just a very simple flower. Nothing about it has to be perfect. Now I just have to figure out what kind of bead I want. I'm just going to take it off and just place that in the center. Now you could also go ahead and glimmer mist it after it's done, or before when you're putting it together, up to you. So there you go. That's how you make these flowers. They're really easy, and of course using different size circles will get you different size flowers. So you could use a 1-inch paper punch or circle punch and make really teeny tiny ones, or you could use a 5-inch circle cutter and get really big flowers. And they're just great for scrapbook pages and all sorts of stuff. So I hope you enjoy. I'll catch you for another video soon, and until then, have a great day and happy crafting.